Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry for my grimy look today. It is called working hard to clean the home day. So it's spring out and I really was getting some spring cleaning done. It's so funny how mostly spring cleaning just means throwing out garbage. And especially when I'm talking about garbage is like when you finally realize you have so much junk in your home. Um, it suffocates me. Oh, literally like this is like side note. Like I came from a home where putting stuff over stuff was okay. But I feel like for the last couple of years, my parents learned to purge and like say if I'm not using it within the first 3 months, it's out of the house. Well, I started actually getting into that, and I honestly have realized that I have so much of nothing, and I have been obsessed of collecting. I have like, damn, since I was, I don't know, I think it was just, I don't know if it was a hidden addiction, but I've always like loved collecting lotions. If it wasn't lotions at one time, it was like face products. If it wasn't face products, it was makeup, and if it's not, perfume. And then I just feel like I have went through this spiral of things that now I just don't want to buy anything. Now I have to be on top of my husband, making sure that he doesn't buy a lot of nothing. So, anyways, that was a side note. Now that I'm actually talking about this, it's funny because I think it's time to talk about the whole big figurative thing, the thing that we do every day, the thing that we have the most problems with, what we complain about the most. It's just, let me just tell you right now, finances. Yes, boring, old, necessary, needed, gotta live, gotta do finances. So, the only reason I'm talking about this is because, and I hope my husband doesn't see this anytime soon, but it's because I realized that I got an overdue letter, and I said, what is this? Since I was young, my parents always taught me to always buy, pay things on time, do it like sacrificially. It doesn't matter if you don't eat for the next day. Honestly, like my parents were really, really like strict about that. So I've never really had a problem with finances until one day, like I got laid off quite a bit of times. I went through a lot of financial struggles, but somehow I always knew how to pay my bills. I don't know if I thank the Lord for that, but I just knew that there was times of wealth and times of, where you didn't have anything. Um, the thing is, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because it makes me laugh now because I've basically have allowed my husband to take the role in leadership of paying bills on time. And he's been doing he's doing quite a bit more than I expected him to be honest, because it sounds bad, but I always thought he was gonna fail. But he's proved me wrong, so I'm pretty happy about that. That he's been taking the role and initiative without me telling him the day, the time, and basically nitpicking. Which, by the way, women, I think we need to stop being like that, or else the person will never get to grow up or learn. Now, when I say this to you, I say this with the utmost belief that I feel like if it's not one or two, there has to be someone in the relationship that has problem with budgeting and financing, and I feel like that is the biggest reason why there's a big thing about divorce, because there has to be somebody in the relationship that's just like willing to, like want to buy this, want to buy that, want to spend this, want to take people out there, want to go on vacation. I'm thankful that my husband isn't like that, but the thing that I do have a problem with him is that he doesn't like to let go of the money. So even though I'm a person that says go pay the dues, he's a person that says it could wait for next check because he likes to see the big old fat zeros in the account. Um, I can't blame him for that. Honestly, like we have made a rule already in our relationship that he has to take care of it. I know everybody says that's a huge risk because like as I just told you, I just got a letter that it's been overdue. Um, and it's just a small thing, so I can't even complain. It's just it's a huge risk. Yes, it is. And did someone tell me to do it? No. I felt like it was my role as a wife to have the belief and hope that he will be a person that is disciplined and that will honor me and love me enough to know how to deal with his money. I say this very distinctively because because we're not parents yet, before he even becomes a father to my children, I have to know that he can deal with something as an everyday cost of living, and that is budgeting and financing. Now, I say this with, I know a lot of girls would say I'm crazy and everything, but the biggest thing that I could tell you right now, that the first thing that I have asked my husband, and it took him long. It took him almost a year to do it, because I did tell him that that's what I honestly wanted from him, not because it was a way to manipulate me, but manipulate him. It was a way to show me that he trusts me, and that is to get a joint account, so banking account. For me to know that he gave me the respect of saying that I not only want to marry you, I have the trust to know that you won't basically go into my account and just take out money out of out of whim. That he knows that I'm that I am honored in that area. It did take him a long time to do it because of trust issues, because of past relationship issues, because of all this. But because we were a couple, it was easier for me to understand him in that area, because it wasn't something that broke me, but it was something that I've learned that it was a door that he had to learn to let me in. Now, this is for women. If you can allow your husband to be patient, and you gain his respect in that area, and that you could know that he honors you in that area, he will do it. Now, a man that doesn't do it, and I'm telling you right now because I've been there and done that, when he didn't honor me in that area, finances, or we could say naturally, they will decrease, because the fact that I was the one taking care of paying the bills on time, that I was the one taking care of the budgeting, that I was taking care, that didn't teach him anything. The only thing that I taught him was to be selfish. And when I say this to you, is because we jump the moment that, oh, there's no bread, oh, there's no milk, oh, the light is due, oh, the internet needs to be paid, oh, like, we took the initial responsibility that he has initially did the moment that he said, I do, and I will take care of you. If you take that responsibility from him, what would you think that he will learn? He would just learn that you're just a safe haven. Oh, I have an extra $20 in my account, but I'm going to keep it there because my wife is going to pay for it later. Yes, we do work. Yes, we do have our expenses. We do have everything. But what I've told my husband was that this is, as I said, 50-50. I don't believe in that terminology. I believe it's 100 and 100. You gotta give yourself 100%. He has to give himself 100%. But the thing is that on the way, when you realize that, that there's a problem, or when you finally get married and you say, oh, this sounds great, this sounds dandy, there's a little bit of selfishness that happens. And that could be on both parts. It could be on one part. You wouldn't know. But character does change, because for him, it could have been like, oh, easy, like I could spend $50 with my buddies. Now the accountability starts. Accountability starts as when, even though all the bills will be paid, now you have to understand what vision or how do you envision yourself in the next 5 years? Now, many people just say, I don't know that. I don't know what the heck are you talking about? That means you're just living out of survival. In my case, when we got married, my husband and I, we made an agreement that we had to envision ourselves somewhere or doing something. I never believed in just accumulating money or just saving, as people said. I believed in having that as a resource that while I put in, I take out. You know what I mean? It's something that it has to be recycled, it has to be in movement. Now, he didn't understand that in the beginning. So our languages and finances just didn't click. But as I felt, knowing him and loving him and appreciating him, I need him to grow. I need him to grow with me. So if I take out the learning strategies and starting just from paying one bill to all the bills, is because I trust him to know and understand that there is a vision to go towards. Now, if I take away that responsibility from him, then I feel like my brain would be over there, his brain will be over here, his spending would go somewhere else, and then in the end, the problem is that you guys are together like this, but then when you start, working harder and harder and harder and harder, your hearts start dividing. Now, when you get married, there has to be a clear vision to go toward or straight toward a goal. And you need to know what that goal is. Is the goal, making a family that is, financially stable? Is the goal being able to travel? I don't know what goal you have. Or it's a goal, having investments here and there. You need to have a clear goal in mind. Now, when I tell you this goal, it's because both man and woman, or woman with women, or you in the end, there has to be an alignment with your spouse, and they should be able to understand you in that area. Now, the issue that happens a lot of times in relationships is that nobody talks about it. There is a miscommunication from the beginning. And then when you ask this person, hey, I want to have a house in 10 years, 10 years. And the person's like, well, I never even thought of buying a house because I don't want to stay where I am right now. Let it be that maybe you're in Puerto Rico and you're just saying, I don't want to live here anymore. I want to go to the United States. And the other person's just like, well, you didn't tell me that. Or how about when you have children, no one talks about the situation because they're like, oh no, it's not going to happen. It's going to could lead or could happen. Hey, I want to adopt a child. This is something that I've always wanted. And the other person's just like, I've never wanted to even think about children. How about a cat? So these things are always an issue. Finances are always an issue. But what I've learned so far, even in my marriage, is that if I take away that responsibility from him, and this could be vice versa. This could be him with me, because I think what happened with him with me was the way that I my attention span, you could say. I wasn't tolerant, I was not patient, I was not, so like I was very nitpicky with my things. So when he came into my life, I had to learn, it's just a damn pair of socks on the floor. I could just pick it up and put it in. For him, it could be the end of the world. Like, it's just socks. And we had these arguments that is like, what's the problem? You could just put it in, in the hamper. And he's just like, why can't you just do it? I'm like in this wrestle back and forth. Now that I've learned that his little weakness, it doesn't bother me. I just learned, oh, there's a sock on the floor, put it in the hamper. Like, it's not going to the point where I have to divide my marriage because this man cannot learn to put a sock in the hamper. It's like, you have to pick and choose battles, right? So that was a battle that I'm not gonna pick and choose anymore. I just learned, hey, he's just like that, and I accept him for it. In this case, just like his way of administering money. Um, I'm not gonna fight over it. I told him I trust him, and if he understands that I'm trusting him at this moment, I delegate him all. Here is the bills that need to be done. I even give him a little nice little post-it with dates that they have to be done, and I have to just breathe in and breathe out and hope for the best. Now, if there is an issue, if I know that if he had an addiction, or I know that he was hiding things from me, that's a whole different thing. But I feel like initially to maintain the integrity of a marriage, there has to be love, there has to be trust, there has to be room for growth. If there is no growth, the love becomes stagnant, meaning that it becomes boring, it becomes predictable. And I said this in as reference to my other video, that routine is killer. Routine is killer. So in my case, something that he has asked me to do is to always have food made. I have an issue, like for me, maybe not for other women, but for me, like I don't bake. Like I could cook. It's just that I'm just satisfied with a bag of chips. I know it's super bad for my health and everything, but I mean, I've never had anybody go and tell me I have to have food done every single day by 6 o'clock, and it's just like, anybody else would be like, oh, that sucks. But I mean, I knew that the moment that I got married, he's gonna take care of me, I take care of him. So in all of this, what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to finances and budgeting, you have to be realistic with yourself. If you're the one that is spending money where you shouldn't be, keep receipts. I've realized that when you keep the receipts and you really understand how much you're wasting, you start realizing where the money is going. And when you start knowing where the money is going, it starts hurting you afterwards. I've learned not to be lazy. Eating out is really disgusting, and it's not only horrible for your health, it is pocket wise just not good. My husband and I, at one point in the beginning of our marriage, we used to waste out, and I'm not even joking, maybe at least $2,000 a month on just eating out, because your girl here don't like McDonald's. So I love to go to Red Lobster, I love to go to like Kelsey's, name the restaurant, and we went to it because I was just a fine food person. So at least every sit down was at least $60 to $80. And I'm not gonna joke on you with that. When I finally realized that was digging deep to our finances, I realized that it was me that needed to learn how to make those fancy gourmet foods at home. What I'm saying is that be realistic with yourselves, make a budget plan, sit down with your partner, learn for strategies of financing, and if you know that the person has an issue with learning how to budget money, you need to know how to tactically, and if the person allows, because you can't be that person that says, oh, I'm going to tell you to do something and they don't want it. They have to want to change also, where you start mutually having that respect for one another and trusting each other with things as big as paying the rent, as big as paying, and you start realizing, that there could be hidden addictions, and if there is, that's something that honestly I do always I recommend to get professional help, to look for a mediator, to look for a mentor, to look for somebody that that can help you out. But anyways, that's my input of finances in the marriages or in spouses. Out of experience, it's really something that you should look into. So anyways, if you guys have any questions, put it down below. Subscribe if you want to, like the video, whatever you like. But yeah, if there's more that you want me to be more detailed in, just let me know and we'll see if we can talk about it. All right. Well, anyways, I'll see you guys later.